Budget doesn't have to mean junk. Some of the most practical 9mm carbines on the market right now cost less than a flashy handgun, yet bring real-world utility to home defense, truck duty, and range time. These aren't just bargain bin toys. Several of them deliver features you'd normally expect to see on rifles twice their price. The catch? Not all of them are built equal, and a few carry quirks. But then, which guns don't, right? So, which carbines on the market right now are genuinely worth your trust? And which ones only look good on paper? In this video, we'll look at 7 of the most talked about budget PCCs for 2025, what they bring to the table, and what compromises you'll have to live with if you pick one up. We have folding designs, wood and steel classics, and even a budget AK-style option on this list, all lined up for a head-to-head breakdown. Number 1. Smith & Wesson M&P FPC. Smith & Wesson rolled the M&P FPC out in 2023 to solve a very specific problem: keep a true 16-inch 9mm carbine legal and practical after the brace mess, but make it small enough to stash in a backpack or behind a truck seat. The trick is its side-folding design. It folds without blocking the top rail, so a red dot or compact optic can live on the gun and keep it zero when you open it up. If you already run an M&P pistol, the FPC lets you share mags and stash spares inside the stock. The carbine tips the scale around 5 pounds, points fast, and carries a 16.25-inch threaded barrel that gets the most out of 9mm, better velocity for expansion, and a ready 1/2 by 28 muzzle for a can. It ships optic-ready, so you're a mount and a battery away from a home defense setup. Of course, this gun isn't perfect. Durability around the folding interface and polymer rail can drift under abuse. Some testers saw zero shift after repeated drops. The stock's spare mag latch takes a counterintuitive press on the opposite side, which isn't ideal when your heart rate spikes. A cross-bolt safety undercuts AR muscle memory, and groups hover around 3 to 5 MOA at 50 yards, acceptable for hallways and driveways. Not a bench rest, darling. Reports exist of rare but ugly malfunctions, including a round wedging under the bolt. The deal breaker for many is simple: no Glock mags. Good thing it's priced okay. MSRP sits at $699, but street prices are in the $600 range. If you're already in the M&P ecosystem and want a foldable, optic-ready carbine you can actually carry in a small bag, this one hits the brief while asking you to accept a few quirks. Number 2. Foxtrot Mike-9 Ambi Carbine. Foxtrot Mike built its reputation on making 9mm AR pattern guns that aren't just parts bin mashups, and the Mike-9 shows that approach. The upper is a monolithic billet piece with the handguard integrated for rigidity. The charging handle rides up front and doesn't reciprocate, and the gun ships with true ambidextrous controls, safety, bolt catch, and mag release. The barrel is 41V50, stress-relieved, and melanited, and the whole package sits around 5.7 pounds, with balanced handling that newer shooters appreciate. It feeds from Glock pattern magazines, so the ecosystem is huge and cheap, and the gun maintains a proper last-round bolt hold open that many budget AR-9s skip. Recoil is the straight blowback flavor, sharp but manageable, and the included 4-port comp helps tame muzzle rise for quick follow-up shots. PCC competitors already run these hard with good results, which says something about real-world reliability under round counts and timers. MSRP hovers at $839, but discounts put it into the 700s range. That places it above the true bargain rack, but still well under boutique delayed blowback guns. The look is more tool than trophy, and you'll still need to budget for a red dot, irons if you want them, and extra mags. Blowback recoil won't feel as soft as a delayed system like CMMGs, and some shooters who grew up on 5-56 ARs still find 9mm carbines less exciting. Accuracy and control, though, are absolutely there for home defense distances and fast strings. Number 3. Bear Creek Arsenal BC-9. Bear Creek Arsenal's BC-9 aims squarely at the wallet without tossing the feature set overboard. It uses a proprietary bufferless blowback system, so you're not married to a receiver extension. And that opens the door to a folding stock arrangement that makes storage easier. Controls are familiar AR territory. The charging handle sits on the left for simple manual of arms, and the gun accepts Glock 17-19 mags and the popular PMAG 27s, the full-length 16-inch PCC with an M-LAW-K handguard, top rail sections, and QD points at a price that undercuts competing rifles by hundreds. Granted, Bear Creek guns don't have the greatest reputation out there, but shooters have run these through drills, and even a full IDPA match with solid reliability, with hiccups mostly tied to ammo. Now, there are some compromises with the price tag. The rifle ships without a magazine and only a receiver cap in place of a stock. So plan another $100 or more to complete the basic package, plus cash for mags. Finish and fit can feel loose, and the octagonal handguard adds heft to the front. This isn't the lightest carbine in the rack. There's no last round bolt hold open, which slows reloads and knocks it down a peg for competition use. Folding stock variants can't be fired folded because the side charger gets in the way, and the included manual doesn't explain the bufferless system well, pushing new owners to BCA's videos. MSRP lists at $564.99, but sales routinely drag it to $434 and change. If you want the cheapest path into a Glock-fed 16-inch PCC, you can tune over time. The BC-9 gets you shooting without maxing a credit card. Number 4. Thureon Defense 9mm Carbine. Thureon Defense took a different path by building a dedicated 9mm carbine rather than a conversion. The design aims for an AR-like feel without leaning on an AR-15 parts catalog, and the result is a carbine that handles like a familiar rifle while firing pistol ammo. Early examples ran modified Uzi magazines. Later production shifted to Glock compatibility, which makes it easier for people who already stack Glock mags. The gun wins fans for its machining and tight fit. Receivers meet cleanly, no rattle, and field stripping doesn't ask for tools. Accuracy surprises people who assume budget PCC means sloppy groups. With the right loads, 2-inch clusters at 50 yards are achievable, which is serious performance for a straight blowback 9mm. Recoil is mild. The barrel wears a flash suppressor to keep things flat, and adjustable stock options allow a decent range of length for gear or body type. Shortcomings revolve around sights and some early magazine gripes. Factory irons sit both on the receiver, which shortens sight radius. The rear aperture runs small, and the front post looks chunky. Most owners mount a red dot and move on. Those early Colt pattern steel mags could be stiff, and a few shooters polished the mag well to smooth insertion. The look leans more Sten meets AR than beauty pageant winner, and a slide fire stock option existed as a novelty more than a practical upgrade. Even locked, that unit adds a little looseness. Street pricing commonly lands between $659 and $700. If you want a purpose-built 9mm carbine that feels like a real rifle, keeps maintenance simple, and shoots better than its price suggests, Thureon's entry deserves a spot on the short list. Number 5. Ruger PC Carbine. Ruger resurrected the idea of a pistol-caliber long gun in 2017 by modernizing its old police carbine into a modular, user-friendly platform. The PC Carbine kept Ruger's knack for practical features and added a takedown system similar to the 10-22 takedown, so the rifle splits into barrel and receiver halves and packs into compact cases while keeping a usable return to 0. The cold hammer-forged barrel is fluted and threaded from the factory, and the receiver is 70T-75 T6 billet aluminum with a top rail. The big crowd pleaser is mag flexibility. The gun ships with interchangeable wells, so you can run Ruger SR security mags or swap to Glock magazines, including the common 17s and 19s. Ruger also tackled blowback feel with a tungsten dead blow weight in the bolt, which does soften the impulse to something closer to a gas gun than a simple straight blowback. Great when you're moving through multiple targets or trying to keep a dot glued to an A-zone. The rifle arrives with adjustable ghost ring sights, a comfortable stock with spacers for length of pull tweaks, and enough aftermarket around it that you can turn the PC Carbine into a competition toy or keep it bone stock for defense. It isn't the featherweight in the room. At about 6.8 pounds, it outweighs some 5 to 56 rifles, and it's close to 2 pounds heavier than the lighter PCC competition. Disassembly past basic field stripping gets fiddly. Pins and springs can escape, and you'll want a bench mat and patience. A subset of buyers report canted or misaligned optics rails out of the box that need correction. Accuracy is fine for the role, although some owners regularly see 3-inch groups at 50 yards, with the takedown interface adding a little play between barrel and receiver, despite the tungsten weight. the bolt mass still gives the recoil more thump than something like the FPC. Stock furniture lacks QD sockets and modern rail real estate unless you add parts. MSRP sits at $779, but street pricing can hit $550 from larger dealers. Number 6. Henry Homesteader 9mm Carbine. Henry repeating arms stepping into the 9mm semi-auto lane was a surprise in 2023. The Homesteader keeps the soul of a classic Henry, American walnut furniture, a steel receiver, and clean lines, but brings the features modern home defenders want. Barrel length comes in at 16.37 inches. Overall length stays under 3 feet, and the top is drilled and tapped for optics. The muzzle comes threaded half 28, making this a good suppressor host. The Homesteader's party trick is magazine flexibility through swappable magwell adapters. Henry ships its own 5 and 10 round mags, but you can set the gun up to feed from Glock, Psy-G, or Smith & Wesson M&P magazines and call it a day. Controls cater to everyone. The charging handle can be set on either side, and the safety sits on the tang, where both thumbs find it. Recoil is soft to the point that new shooters smile. This platform is friendly for spouses, teens, or grandparents who want a controllable house gun without the blast and punch of 5 to 56 indoors. The rifle weighs around 6.6 pounds and balances well with that slim forearm, so offhand shooting feels natural. A bit of a nitpick. It asks for a premium over plastic PCCs. MSRP runs $928 to $959 depending on configuration, but discounts bring it down to the $625 range, often showing up at big online shops. The trigger breaks clean enough, but has a little creep. Aftermarket parts are limited because this isn't an AR-9, and anyone hoping to bolt on rails. Vertical grips or drums will move along quickly. Straight blowback throws brass with enthusiasm, and the action gets dirty faster than a delayed system. Looks matter to some households, though, and this rifle looks like a traditional hunting carbine. That means it doesn't scare the neighbors and blends into a rural or farmhouse setting while still running Glock mags if you choose. Number 7. Chiappa RAK-9. The RAK-9 brings the AK experience into the 9mm world. Chiappa released it in 2019 with manufacturing rooted in Romania and finishing done in Italy. The gun uses a steel receiver and a heavy straight blowback bolt instead of a long stroke piston, but the controls, field strip, and overall feel point squarely at AKM ergonomics. It scratches the itch for shooters who train on AKs or just love the platform, while taking advantage of cheaper pistol ammo and lighter recoil. Magazine setup comes via swappable magwells, so owners can choose Beretta 92 magazines or Glock compatibility. US packages often include the Glock option, which is the practical route given how common those mags are. Classic AK details make the gun feel right. Fixed sights, wood or polymer furniture, a cleaning rod under the barrel, and some bundles even toss in a 40-round ETS Glock mag along with the two 10-rounders. Range time brings smiles because the action stays flattering and controllable, especially for new shooters who want to learn AK manual of arms without 7 to 62 by 39mm blast. Trade-offs live in the expected places. Straight blowback adds bolt mass, so the recoil impulse has that quick shove that differs from a gas AK, and the rifle weighs about 6.6 pounds despite firing 9mm. Internals are proprietary, and the aftermarket is thinner than AR-9 territory, even if furniture swaps are easy. Accuracy lands in the practical bracket. Think 2 to 3 MOA at 25 to 50 yards, more than enough for home defense and informal training. Prices sit around $549.99, and big online sellers do run it at $400 from time to time. Sometimes with that ETS bonus mag, if you live and breathe AK controls, or you want a cheap way to build AK reps with 9mm, you should seriously consider getting a Chiappa RAK-9. And that wraps up our list of 7 budget-friendly 9mm carbines, proving you don't need to empty your wallet to keep your place secure. Each one's got its ups and downs, but the question is, which one caught your eye? Do you care more about sharing mags with your sidearm? Or would you rather have something that folds down small? Maybe you're into the classic wood and steel look instead. Let us know your pick in the comments. And while you're at it, smash that like button. Share this with your buddies, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you're ready for the next breakdown.